All right. Hello. My name is Jim Lowenstern. I couldn't be more excited to share with you this new and exciting business model for real estate brokerage called eXp Realty. The success of eXp is undeniable. Everybody wants to know about eXp, and I get the privilege of sharing a lot of what you should know about it today. Now, before I do, briefly, I'll give you some background on me. I got started in real estate 40 years ago in Palm Beach, Florida, where I still hold a license in addition to licenses in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island. I began my career when I was an infant. So with a little quick math, you now know that I'm 40 years old. In the past 40 years, I have brokered real estate, managed real estate offices, built houses, converted condominiums, invested in and rented apartments, wrote 2 books about real estate, including one primarily about eXp titled Your $1 Million Month in Real Estate. And I've produced and hosted radio shows, TV shows, and this teleprompter is not working. So we're gonna try this again sometime when the teleprompter is working, because this is not.
It was scintillating. I couldn't stop listening.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna work. We're gonna do it again.
Yeah,
So
we'll just continue with it right now. I mean, what you were talking about was trying to explain a little bit about what is special and unique about eXp. So scroll ahead, and I have some points while you're looking that I've been in 4 different brokerages. I learned in each one. I always joined them because they had better education, they had better splits, they had a better cap rate. And what I found was it was really important to be around better people. And that's one of the things that I found. Have you found your spot there?
I have to make adjustments to the speed of it. That's been the problem with this particular software program. So I'll play with it. Maybe what I'll do is next week I'll just get in like a half an hour early and play with it. So,
well, at least you're not a narcissist, or that person might have either known exactly what they were going to say or didn't have to read who they were 40 years ago.
It's not that. It's all the stuff that's after it. If it's not coming up fast enough,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of information to cover. So that's one of the things I actually wanted to talk about this week anyway, was so as we've already discussed, I wrote this book. Just actually got what I believe is going to be the final edited version of it. I got that yesterday, so I've got the weekend to read through it and really focus down to the last period and comma, and make sure that it's, because it was 99.9%. I want it to be 100%. So I'm doing like a 20,000 broker email blast today, literally offering the book for free. Agents can buy it, of course. They can go to yourmilliondollaryear.com and get it. And the title is Your $1 Million Month in Real Estate. But the point is, to get a free copy, they just have to basically meet me, shake my hand, say hi.
Oh, it has to be a physical meeting. Can't be.
Yeah, I'm not shipping them. I'm not paying for that.
Okay.
I mean, please, that's.
So you can get it for free, but shipping is not included.
I mean, that's almost the cost of the book, is shipping these days. But there's a lot of agents.
Are you a reader, Jim? Do you read books?
I got what's his name, Jim Collins. I got his book,
Okay.
Good to Great, the other day.
Okay.
It's a big thick paperback, and I looked at it and it's like, holy crap, because I read his first, well, I don't know if it was his first book. Um, no, this is Built to Last is the one I just got. I got Good to Great.
Different writer.
No, it's the same writer. It's the same author,
Hmm.
Jim Collins.
Okay.
I think that's his name. But this one is like a textbook, tiny, tiny little print.
Uh-huh.
So I'll get through it. I've always wanted to read this book. It's like it's supposed to be one of the best business books out there.
There are so many good books out there. I mean, that in itself is a thing. I'm
But this
reading
but this one, if you Google the top 10 books about business,
exactly.
you're probably going to see Built to Last and Good to Great. But regardless, so my point is, I speak to brokers every day. My main job is expanding the company. And it's always interesting to see what brokers focus on. There was a particular Keller Williams broker. I actually spoke to her today as a follow-up call. She was very interested in knowing more. And her question was, and I still have to drill into this. Her question was this. Okay, so I sponsor agents and they sponsor agents and they sponsor agents, and it goes out 7 levels. And if you add up all those numbers, I believe it equals 20.
Okay.
So in theory, EXP's portion of the sale is 20 and they're paying out 20. How is this sustainable? Okay. So I found out that the 50 initiative, and I've got to get a little more information, but there's something called a buffer. So that when you're getting paid, it can be potentially, because I haven't seen it yet. I think I'm getting my second or third payment now. You can get more or you can get less, but they literally figure it out to the penny. And the revenue that they're paying out is from EXPI. It's not just from EXP Realty. So it includes revenue from Success Magazine, Success Lending, Verbella, the metaverse software, and EXP Realty. And I don't know, I think they have other things going too.
Hey, Jim. Jim,
Yep.
you started this story talking to a Keller Williams agent, and you kind of spun through a whole bunch of different things really quickly right there. I'm just wondering what was the point?
The point is that you want to. Is this show about making points? Oh,
Yeah, that's why they're listening. I think I know what some of your points are. I think one of the things that you were
help me then.
I think one of the points that you were going to get to was what you get paid, and as an agent, and that is one of the critical things agents absolutely are curious about, and one of the reasons why they move from place to place. But I think that whole conversation about the 7 levels of how you get paid, I think that was a little muddled because you're getting paid not from the agent. The agent has a deal with EXP. EXP, your deal as a recipient of that money, based on your relationship with that person and relationship within those 7 levels, has to do with the company and not with you. And what you finally ended up saying is that it's not just the company EXP Realty, but it comes from the publicly traded stock EXPI, which includes Success Magazine and a couple of other things. I think that's
Rebella. Yeah. So I think her question. Okay. So you're asking me, why was I going into this? What was her question? I think her question was more about sustainability of the company.
okay.
And if they're giving away 50% of their revenue, how can they possibly stay in business? And but here's the thing: brokers come, brokers go. So broker R recruited somebody, broker R leaves, that level in let's say I recruited broker R, she leaves. It doesn't compress. It doesn't move up. It's just like whoever they recruited, second tier, it
Right.
stays there. But they're now not paying
Right.
R. And, Jim still gets paid by EXP for her recruiting agent B. And that's what happens. Not
Right.
not everyone stays. And even after people pass away, the company still pays the family. It pays.
I think her question is simpler. Her question was, if the company is paying out 50% of its revenue, how can that sustain that? And I would say the same way Amazon did, the same way that many of these companies, Netflix beat out because they didn't have the extra income that was needed to sustain that type of business. EXP is a different type of business.
They have lower overhead because they're not paying
Right.
for physical offices. Their agents are paying for those offices. Like myself, I'm paying for a very expensive office.
Two of them.
Yeah, two of them plus. There's even virtual offices in that team. They're not paying for that, so they're saving a ton of money on a global level. 23 countries, they're saving all that money. Whereas a company like Realty, for example, they're paying for all those offices because they are corporate brick and mortar. So there was a very interesting article. Well, actually, let me follow up on this particular agent. So this particular agent is at KW, and she has, let's say, a $35,000 cap, and she's a top agent. So she says, for me, that's nothing. That's nothing. The difference 16,000 and let's say 36,000, $20,000 doesn't mean anything. Well, here's what the agents forget. It's not just any one thing with the XP that you can compare it to another company. So yeah, $20,000 a year might not mean anything to you, but over the next 5 to 10 years that you're going to be in the business, that could be $100,000 or $200,000 right there. But that's nothing because you make a lot of money. So a couple $100,000 probably isn't a lot of money to you, and God bless you. But it's more than that, because the 16,000 cap for an agent like that isn't a 16,000 cap, because they can get up to the entire 16,000 in stock. If they don't want to do anything, they don't want to go to conventions, they don't want to mentor anybody, they still get half of that cap back in company stock every year. Plus, every year, they're going to get another $600 worth of stock issued. $400 worth of stock on their first sale every year, $200 worth of stock every time they cap. So over 10 years, what is that? $6,000 worth of stock. And if the stock goes up, and in some cases it's gone up like 100 times, you can start seeing that, okay, so here's two things. Maybe they mention, hey, maybe you should join EXP, or someone comes up to them and says, hey, Tina, how's EXP? And she says, oh my God, forget about the nickels and dimes that I'm making that are adding up to tens of thousands of dollars or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. I get stock and I get passiving, and it's just one thing after another. That's why I wrote
Well,
the book.
it's an extra. Instead of having your whole business based on making a commission, you not only have the opportunity to make that commission on a continuing basis, but you make additional income, other streams of income, which is what every agent needs. You can get the stock. You can recruit people and get referral money. In that way, you can refer people. There's a variety of ways to make money, and this is one of the reasons why people move from spot to spot. But the best reason is be around good people.
And they don't see what I need to better explain to anyone that chooses me as a sponsor is this is a commitment. I'm going to say it's a 3-year commitment, and I'll explain, or at least a 3-year commitment. You really shouldn't do it unless you're going to give it 3 years, because there are going to be lockup periods for some of your stock. There are going to be periods of time where you may not sponsor agents and periods of time when you will. But if you give it a few years, you will start seeing the compounding benefits of your efforts. And this is a big picture thing. I mean, EXP is something much bigger than what's ever been presented to agents before. And again, I talk to agents, oh, I'm doing so well. You're doing so well. Interest rates are going up. Inventory is tight. Buyers are going to start pulling back out of the market, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to be looking for other means of income. You're going to be looking for things to get excited about in a business that's not going to get increasingly easier. We're going to have, we're going to have a little turbulence here or there,
It's an up and down business.
And if you, and people get confused about, oh, this is all about team building. I don't want to build a team. I want to be by myself. I'm happy. I don't want to get involved with the definition of teams now that EXP is expanding. It's totally different. There's a guy named Chuck. Chuck had an office in Arizona. May have mentioned him. I actually watched a little interview with him last night. He's a very God-fearing man.
What's up, Chuck?
He used to run nightclubs for the mob in Brooklyn, but he's out in Arizona now. He's changed his ways.
He was known as Chucky.
Nice man. He and his wife had an office out there, 22,000 square foot office, 900 agents.
That's a lot.
Went to EXP, 600 of them left. They didn't get it. They said, Chuck, you're nuts. You're nuts. You got this 20,000 plus square foot office. You're going into the cloud. But to hear Chuck speak, oh, and by the way, I forget the most important part of the story. It's typical Jim. 7,000 plus agents now.
Now he has 7,000.
Right. Now, does he manage all of them? In a way he does, because he's the leader. He's out there like me, I'm out there. Someone wants to they ask him, hey, Chuck, how does someone get in touch with you? He's like, give me a call. I'm the same way.
I've actually read both of your books, and I have to say, you are so much better a writer than you are a talker.
I'm glad this is virtual. We used to do this face to face. I probably have my hands around your neck right now.
But seriously,
I know you mean that with
I do. I absolutely do.
Love.
Because I do. I absolutely do. Because
as great of a talker as I am, I'm a better writer. That's what you're really trying to say.
There you go. Nice spin. That's a good real estate kind of thing,
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that sponsoring people, what is a sponsor? I think that's a really salient question to ask. And every person that we talk to is interested in that. When I was a Keller Williams agent for all the time, I felt like the whole way that it was set up within that franchise, good franchise, it set up like you were getting something from them. And it was not necessarily getting it from them. It was still a similar situation. You were getting it from your office's profit. And this is a whole different thing. This is not office profit. This is company revenue. That's a huge, huge difference. And it takes the onus off of, I want you in because I'm going to make money from you, to, I want you in because let's go make some money.
Right. And everybody gets stock. I mean, again, if you want to talk about Keller Williams, I mean, they may go public someday, but even if they do, it's not going to be the same kind of setup because that's a franchising company. So you're getting stock if they issue it to their agents. And I bet they don't, because it just gets too complex. And we'll talk about Compass in a minute, because that was a big thing for me this week, that Inman article. But it's so unique. Everybody in the company that's doing any kind of production at all, I mean, you don't have to be recruiting, you don't have to be sponsoring agents, you don't have to have any part of that, but you're still going to get stuck every single year. So everybody benefits from the success of everybody else. It is very different in that way. So in Inman, there was an article written about Compass. And oh God, it was in depth. It was an amazing article. This guy, Mike Delapret, I think is his name, genius, just over and above genius. To spend that much time looking over the financials of all these companies. And the focus was Compass, but there was a chart there where he compared Compass with 3 other publicly traded companies. One was Realty, and Realty is really a basket full of brands. Douglas Elliman, our good friends, the Altman brothers, on your $1 million listing or $1 million listing LA, they're part of Douglas Elliman, and they're publicly traded. And the third one, besides Compass, that was the fourth, was the EXP, which I love it. I mean, we're mainstream. I mean, holy crap. Redfin wasn't mentioned. You know, Real, Fathom. I mean, other publicly traded, Zillow, of course, not a brokerage really. So they showed profit, total profit, operating expenses, or whatever. And then there was like net profit. So EXP and Douglas Elliman had little tiny slivers of black. Realty had a nice chunk of black. And Compass had a chunk of black, but it was below the line, meaning they lost all that money. Everybody else was up. And I looked at it and I said, well, wait a minute. And I made a comment on the comment thread. I said, this is not an apple chart here. No other company gives 50% of its revenue. We're not even talking profit.
Yeah.
Or net profit, 50% of its revenue to its agents. If you took that chunk and added it to that little sliver to show what is really going on with VXP, we're 5 times that amount that Realty had, and it's going to the agents. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And that's just one of the particular aspects of success. But in real estate, you are a self-employed person. You are someone that has to wake up every day and determine what you're going to do. You have to make it rain. You have to meet people. You have to have awkward conversations. Years ago, I wrote about the 10 reasons not to be a real estate agent, and it's the 10 reasons why people say, I want to be in it. One of them is, I'm a people person. Nothing will teach you to hate people more than the general public's disdain for real estate agents and how they put them all into one little basket. So if you're a people person and you don't want that crushed, don't be a real estate agent. The other is how much time you have. I want to set my own schedule. Well, your schedule as a self-employed person working in real estate is their schedule. Now, you can contain that by letting them know when you're available and when you're not available and stick to that. But they're going to call you when they have a thought or they have a question. And you should be not available to them, but available within your confines. And some of those nuances can be taught by your sponsor, should be taught to you by your sponsor. Sponsorship is not just in EXP is not just a way to help you make more money, although at its bottom line it is that, but it's help you understand your own personal self-employed business and how to do you better, because there are high D's and high C's and high I's, and there's always be closing people, and there's shy people. Every brand of human being can be a real estate agent, and that's why it seems simple. But to be great at it takes work and effort and sponsorship and mentorship. And that's the other thing. You want to be around really good people. Find them and stick with them and listen to them, but make your own decisions based on it. Don't buy anything wholesale, because most really successful agents will tell you what they did to be successful. That doesn't mean it's going to work for you. You could be a different person. You got to take what they did and figure out how you can adapt that to make you better.
Well
Is
said.
yeah.
Well said. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting time in the economy. We've got inflation. We've got interest rates going up, in some cases significantly. I think they were under 3% a few months ago. Now they're over 5%. I've heard heading possibly to 8.
I've heard that too. I heard they're
Yeah.
also going to go back down next year. A lot of that is volatility. It doesn't help someone to hear that years ago 17 and 12% was the averages. It doesn't make you feel good if you're going from 3 to 5.
No, not at these prices. So, I mean, it's a very real thing that
Right.
people could have qualified for a certain size, certain price house, a few months ago, and now
Yeah.
they're literally closed out.
Yeah.
They
You're
and it
buying
was tough,
less. You're
and it
buying
was tough
less.
enough when interest rates were sort of stable. You knew
Right.
pretty much, within a tenth of a percent. Now you have no idea. And it was tough enough to get a mortgage contingency accepted before. And now I would imagine it's going to be even harder.
Right. Right. Well, I don't think we're a bubble. I don't think prices are going to go down dramatically as rates go up. I think days on market, we're seeing there's more. I am personally seeing that there's fewer offers in the properties that I'm working with and looking to buy with clients. It is going to be rocky for a little bit.
It's a good thing for some, for all those buyers who couldn't even find a property.
Yeah.
With a little bit of patience, you know, they'll find a property, and they'll probably be able to find a seller who will consider their offer.
Yeah.
Whereas before they were getting frustrated.
Yeah.
As far as the sellers go, I think they have to be ready to have their house shown more than for 1 hour.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
we got $100,000 over the asking price. It was on the market Saturday afternoon between 1 and 2.
You know,
It's
the
going to be
listing
tough.
agents that let me tell you, if you're a listing agent and you do that and you think, oh, good for me, and people will really see how well I'm doing, you really don't get it. And you don't get marketing either, because that's just what's happening. Put a doghouse on the market right now and you're going to get a bunch of buyers. It's no special thing to sell a house. I was talking about that earlier about marketing. The skill of marketing something has aspects of it that are nuanced and important, and you don't have to do that. Here's a picture. Come see our house right now.
We're the guys that have seen a few downturns,
Yeah.
maybe a recession or two.
Yeah.
There are a lot of agents out there that have never
Right.
seen anything
Right.
other than, like in the stock market. Even there's a lot of investors who've never seen stocks go down. Stocks go down? I thought they just went up.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
welcome to 2022.
Well, one of the differentiations between agents is the experience, but it's really the knowledge. And experience gives you knowledge by doing things the wrong way and learning how better to do it. But really being a student, and you've said that. You feel more like a professor or a
Well,
teacher.
now I'm close to having that PhD
Right.
for
Right.
for real estate and EXP. You know,
Yeah.
um, and I drilled into it in the book. You know, it's not enough anymore just to be a real estate broker. You have to be a little bit smarter, not just smarter than the other agents. You have to be smarter than all other business people. I mean, it's a very competitive field.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It absolutely is. Hey, it's been a fantastic half hour.
As always.
As
Do we have any
always.
questions? We were live. We didn't mention that we were live. By the way, if you're watching us live, this is live.
Yeah, yeah. Let me check to make sure. There we go. Yes, we are. There we are. Oh, that's not a pretty picture.
Right,
I'm talking
sent
about
you.
myself.
Oh, okay. So no questions on our first live one?
I didn't see any, but
No.
as you know, I can't see it because we're doing this thing. So
Oh, I
somebody,
thought you had a second screen there.
yeah, I do, but I didn't fire it up because you were so interesting. I was hanging on every word.
I've heard that. Yeah. We'll do better with the yeah, there's always next
Every
week.
day, every day we'll do better. Hey,
Get better and better.
thanks for
As
listening.
Glenn Sanford so aptly said, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing poorly.
Yeah. There we are. Tune in next week for another episode. See you then.
Recording stopped.